So now I would love to introduce you to one of those amazing scientists, Ovarian Cancer Canada's very own Dr. Alicia Tone. Alicia holds a PhD in ovarian cancer biology from the University of Toronto, postdoctoral studies in ovarian cancer genomics at BC Cancer Agency, and more than 7 years as a scientific associate in the Division of Gynecologic Oncology at the Princess Margaret Cancer Centre. We are so grateful to have her as part of our team. Now over to you, Alicia.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you so much for being here. It is my honor to present an overview and brief update on OvCan on behalf of the many scientists, clinicians, patients, and advocates involved in this national research initiative. This session will cover 3 things: how OvCan came to be, our research priorities and bench-to-bedside approach, and some highlights of progress in our first 3 years of this 5-year initiative. In 2015, in consultation with communities of patients, clinicians, and researchers, Ovarian Cancer Canada created a 3-pronged research strategy named OvCan. This strategy had a clear single aim over 5 years: to improve the outcomes of women diagnosed with ovarian cancer through funding for research into better treatments. 4 years of dedicated and collective efforts by Ovarian Cancer Canada, women living with the disease, family members, and other advocates across the country followed. In 2019, the Government of Canada took bold action and entrusted Ovarian Cancer Canada with an unprecedented $10 million investment into ovarian cancer research to improve outcomes. In early 2020, OvCan was launched. So we have since taken the federal government's $10 million investment and grown it to almost $14 million by advocating with provincial governments in Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia and working with partner research institutions such as Iroquois and the Cancer Research Society. Funds are allocated to projects within 3 research priorities: support of key national resources such as tissue banks, patient engagement activities, and personnel required for project management. An amazing 90% of funds are allocated to research projects. So the first research priority focuses on development and characterization of experimental models that closely match the disease in patients and represent the diversity of histologic types and molecular subtypes of ovarian cancer. Many of these models are derived from tissue generously donated by patients, and they enable us to learn about how each type of ovarian cancer starts, how it progresses, and how it can be stopped. This important work provides the tools needed for scientists to discover and test new potential treatments in a living system prior to testing in patients. The second priority focuses on preclinical testing of potential new treatments in these highly representative research models. Patients have played a key role in selecting the most promising treatments to be funded within this priority area. The third priority focuses on personalized clinical trials taking place across Canada that focus on testing of promising new treatments in patients diagnosed with different types of ovarian cancer. This is important as response to standard chemotherapy varies based on factors such as ovarian cancer type and molecular alterations, such as specific gene mutations in the tumor or individual. Identifying patients who are not likely to respond to standard treatment and offering them effective alternative treatments remains one of the most important goals in the clinical management of ovarian cancer. These 3 priorities spanning from bench to bedside all feed into our ultimate goal, which is to improve the outcomes of women with ovarian cancer. So now on to some of our progress. So within priority 1, our goal was to build a gold standard set of ovarian cancer research models that could be made available to the entire Canadian ovarian cancer research community. To achieve this, we created an OvCan Models Consortium, a pan-Canadian group of scientists with relevant expertise. We have funded 23 projects to date using a uniquely collaborative decision-making process, whereby open discussions on collective funding priorities are held through working group meetings focused on different types of models. Importantly, funded projects on research models will set the stage for future discoveries, whether diagnosis, prevention, or treatment for all types of ovarian cancer. I'm not going to go over the details on this slide, but I wanted to show the names and faces of the many Canadian researchers we are funding to complete this important work. For instance, on this slide, these individuals from Quebec and Ontario are all creating models specific for high-grade serous cancer, the most common type. We also have funded researchers from BC, Quebec, and Ontario to support projects dedicated to less common types of ovarian cancer, including but not limited to low-grade serous, clear cell, endometrioid, and rare types such as small cell carcinoma of the ovary, hypercalcemic type. These researchers from Quebec and Nova Scotia are being funded to develop tools that will facilitate discoveries regardless of ovarian cancer type. So within priority 2, our goal was to identify and prioritize the development of up to 8 novel treatments to be tested in preclinical studies. We've in fact exceeded this goal, funding 13 studies in collaboration with funding partners, IRACOR and Cancer Research Society. And importantly, this includes 5 projects dedicated to less common types of ovarian cancer and funding of an early career investigator to invest in the future of ovarian cancer research. This is showing you the faces of all of the priority 2 funding recipients from 4 provinces, including BC, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Quebec. All of these projects hold great promise, and we can't wait to highlight results and next steps as they progress. Finally, within priority 3, our goal was to fund 4 to 5 early phase clinical trials using a personalized or precision medicine approach. We wanted to ensure that any studies we supported would be national in scope or at least have multiple sites across Canada, build on Canadian science, include studies on samples collected throughout the trial to learn as much as possible, have meaningful patient engagement, and have a large potential for impact. So we are very happy to share that we've again exceeded our goal, funding 6 clinical trials through open competition with international expert panels and patient reviewers. And up to 331 Canadians with ovarian cancer are expected to be enrolled in these studies combined. So I'm just going to show you a few things about these studies that we have funded. So the NEO trial, led by Drs. Amit Oza and Stephanie Naru in Toronto, is testing the impact of using a PARP inhibitor prior to surgery in women with platinum-sensitive recurrent high-grade serous ovarian cancer. This trial includes 5 sites in Canada from Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta, and 44 patients have been recruited with analysis of tumor samples underway. The ES2 trial, led by Dr. Diane Provencher and Helen McKay from Toronto, will test the impact of using a PARP inhibitor in combination with another drug that activates controlled death or apoptosis pathways in tumor cells. This study is gearing up to open very soon and will recruit 30 women with high-grade serous cancer from 3 sites in Canada. The CX5461 trial, led by Dr. Amit Oza in Toronto, is testing a new small molecular inhibitor, clearly called CX5461, in patients who become resistant to PARP inhibitors. This trial is now open at Princess Margaret in Toronto and the CHUM in Montreal, and is aiming to recruit up to 30 women with ovarian cancer of all types. And finally, the REVOLVE trial, led by Dr. Stephanie LaRue in Toronto, is truly personalized medicine in action. This trial is set to open very soon and will use genomics in tumor samples to determine the best next treatment for patients who become resistant to PARP inhibitors. Up to 100 patients with recurrent high-grade serous or endometrioid cancer from 9 sites across Canada will be enrolled. So the 2 most recently funded trials are being led by Drs. Anna Tinker and Yvette Drew from BC Cancer. Preparation for these trials are underway, and you will hear from both of these women in the coming sessions tonight. But briefly, Dr. Tinker's study focuses on the identification of predictive biomarkers in women with low-grade serous ovarian cancer, one of the less common types. Dr. Drew's study will test the impact of combining a PARP inhibitor and 2 other drugs in newly diagnosed stage 4 patients with high-grade serous cancer. Projects led by 3 Saskatchewan researchers, Dr. Laura Hopkins, Shaina Lee, and Miriam Elheki, are also underway. Projects include creation of a biobank, tumor testing, and ovarian cancer drug prediction program, studying perspectives of patients and clinicians in Saskatchewan, and the effect of iron supplementation on survival. We are also funding an integrated program in Nova Scotia, with 3 projects being led by Dr. Stephanie Scott, Jeanette Boudreau, and Robin Urquhart, now underway. These projects will combine to result in expanded ovarian cancer biobank, a detailed study of immunology and genetics in patients throughout treatment, and a better understanding of ovarian cancer care in Nova Scotia. So very importantly, women living with ovarian cancer are integrated throughout all aspects of OvCan and our work in general, keeping the voice of those with lived experience at the forefront. Engaging ovarian cancer patients and their loved ones as partners in research reflects our philosophy that scientific research can be enhanced by valuing and uplifting the unique perspectives of those affected by the disease. So the role of our patient partners in research program is to complement and maximize the impact of research being done by Ovarian Cancer Canada supported scientists. Our team consists of 20+ women from 7 provinces, all but one of whom have been personally diagnosed with ovarian cancer. The team is led by, co-led by Donna Pepin, highlighted here, who also serves as patient advisor on the OvCan Governing Council. The full patient partner team attends monthly meetings where they hear from scientific experts, participate in ongoing education, and prepare for engagement opportunities. These are just some of the faces of this dynamic team. So examples of activity that our patient partners have been involved in include participating in international and national review panels, in small interactive sessions with researchers, as panelists at National Ovarian Cancer Canada Symposia, integration as full team members on OvCan funded clinical trials, consultation on funding proposals, surveys, and educational tools. You can see there's a lot. Collaborative research grants, participation in collaborative research grants with us and external partners, and invitations to speak about the successes, challenges, and best practices for patient engagement at national and international conferences. So I want to wrap up by saying that this program is truly a national effort with engagement from the clinical, scientific, and patient communities from 8 Canadian provinces. Names in bold on the left are those experts serving on our governing council, which acts to ensure that all money spent aligns with our overall goal and mission of OvCan. So with that, I'll thank our funders and partners and pass the torch to the next session.
Great. Thank you so much, Alicia. It's amazing and so exciting to hear about all the great work happening. So thank you for that brief overview and introduction.